Hey guys, welcome to the Hunter's Quest podcast. This is your host, Hunter. Hope you're having a great day. And yes, I know this is a little weird. I'm recording this intro on my cell phone if you're watching on YouTube. But as usual, things are a little crazy here before a big trip. I'm leaving for Mexico in a day or two. And so all my camera gear is packed away. So anyway, this week I have a cool episode with my buddy Robert Hupman. Robert is a friend here in Virginia. We actually recorded this one in person in my home studio. So if you get a chance, go over to YouTube and check it out. But Robert is a small business owner. He runs a poultry farm, actually. He's a landowner, owns a bunch of land out here in the mountains of Virginia. He's a Western hunter and an Eastern hunter as well. So we have a great conversation. And not only that, but my friend, who is a gentleman farmer here in Virginia, is also running for the Virginia State Senate, and that will be next year. So that'd be really interesting to have him on because those are the type of people that I think we need in politics. Business owners, outdoorsmen, these kind of people, not these career politicians that are kind of running us into the dirt right now. Anyway, enjoy this episode. He's a mutual friend of mine and Ryan Munsey's. That's how we met. He's also a jiu-jitsu coach. So really interesting guy and a good friend. So hope you guys enjoy this conversation. And I'll probably be in Mexico or on my way to Salt Lake City for the expo while you're listening to this. So we will return to normal podcast soon, but I hope you guys enjoy this one. If you're headed to the expo, shoot me a DM. Let's connect while we're there, and looking forward to seeing you guys. I'll be around all weekend, so enjoy this episode with Robert, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Welcome to the Hunter's Quest podcast. This is the first time recording in person in the home studio. So this is my buddy Robert Hupman. So
hey guys.
Thanks for coming out, man.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man. So we were just talking about antelope hunting. And so Robert owns some land about, an hour from here or so?
Yeah, hour and 10 minutes.
What county is that in?
So it'd be Warren County.
Warren County, okay.
Yeah.
So some beautiful land out in the mountains of Virginia, Appalachian Mountains. And so if you listened to the podcast a while ago with Ryan Munsey, I linked up with Robert through Ryan because when I moved here, I was looking for a place to shoot my rifle because it's not easy to find a place to shoot long range in Virginia. So
not at all.
I started just asking around to people, and Ryan knew Robert. How did you guys meet?
Through a good friend of mine, Scott Dolly.
Okay.
He's a manual therapist and just like guru of the human body. And
Yeah.
he works with a lot of high-end athletes from Ben Greenfield. He does Runga and a couple other events or with Ben Greenfield. And he's been on his podcast and Ryan's podcast. And,
Cool.
Works with NFL players and stuff too.
Cool. So, yeah, I knew anybody that was friends with Ryan is probably a quality individual. So.
Oh, he's one of my best friends for sure. And
yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
And that's like, I love just trying to surround myself with good people, but also people who have ambition and drive and want to do cool stuff like yourself and Ryan. And so it's just good to network with those kind of people, you know?
Yeah, I think that's how we better ourselves is creating that network and,
for sure.
and finding like-minded individuals.
Yeah. So anyway, I was putting the feelers out looking for a place to shoot, and Robert graciously extended the invitation to come out there, and actually even did some work to clear a range, and went out there and got that thing pretty good. I think it's killing.
I think you're good to go.
I don't like shooting far anyway, so if I can get it like inside of 3, that's the best in my opinion. So
chip shots.
Yeah, man. So yeah, just tell, I know a little bit about you. I don't know a ton about you because, most of the time that we spent together, we've just kind of been shooting and stuff. So, I think your family goes back for a long time in Virginia. So, but just tell me a little bit about your family, your history, and kind of your land and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, we grew up on the Shenandoah River. We're on the South Fork of that. So you got the South and North Fork.
When you drive in your property, that river right there, that's the Shenandoah?
That's the South Fork of the Shenandoah. It starts at Port Republic up in Rockingham County. And then the other part, the North Fork, is over in the Strasburg, Shenandoah County. And it runs down the Massanutten Mountain. So the mountain that we were on is actually the Massanutten. And then we actually look at the Blue Ridge Mountains where Shenandoah National Park is.
Yeah. And so the end of Massanutten Mountain is called like something not like Rocky Knob or something.
Single Knob.
Single Knob. Okay.
Yeah, you got Single
Because when
Knob.
you go up the, we went up for like a little picnic with my family the other day up the skyline.
Yeah.
And right when you kind of first start, you can see that's Massanutten Mountain across that valley, right?
Yep, that's Massanutten. You'll probably see Buzzard Rock is a very popular.
How far are you from the actual Massanutten ski resort? Is that somewhere else?
No, that's further south. So that's Rockingham County toward it's other side of Elkton. So it's in McGaheysville is what it's actually called. So about an hour.
And so, okay, there's Elkton, and I noticed also there's like a Elk Wallow something up near on Skyline Drive. You think those names are from like back in the day? There used to be elk here?
Yeah, there was elk actually in Elkton, and then there was, the eastern species of elk were, I think the last one was killed off in 1898 or 1900s in Pennsylvania, but they had their own subspecies that we.
Oh wow!
The frontiersmen.
Are they completely gone?
Yeah, they're eradicated. The last one was
killed extinct.
Done.
Wow, so we couldn't even bring them back if we.
No, you couldn't bring that gene back.
Interesting.
But I've always put feelers out there with the state politicians, and I think they're pretty receptive on maybe trying to reestablish an elk herd on the George Washington National Forest. Primarily like Highland and Bath County. Just I picked that area because it's only 2,500 people in Highland.
Yeah.
And there's no real cropland. So I think the damage would be minimum. Plus, it would give some income to those farmers.
Yeah. Well, I want to hit that later, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. So tell me a little more about your. I keep derailing you, but like just kind of your family history and the area you're from and all that stuff.
Yeah. So 17. We've been there since the 1790s.
Wow.
The particular tracks that I'm on, it's about 600 acres. My great-grandfather bought it from a family member. He owned across the river from where you could see.
Where were your ancestors from, do you know?
We were like a melting pot. So the guy part would be English.
Okay.
He used to joke around with my grandmother, said her great-grandfather would joke around that they sent the crazies over from England and kicked them off. And then I have some, my other mom's side, they're from Richmond area, Ashland. They have, some Italian with Native American.
Okay. So just the mutt like the rest of us.
I'm a big mutt.
Just like all Americans.
Like the Hupmans, I guess, are from Nova Scotia or something. I was researching. Cool. I don't really know much about that, like my namesake, but for the guy in Fristo area, we're pretty German and English, probably majority of that.
So 1790.
Yeah.
Been on that same farm that you live on now.
Yeah, the house my aunt lives in is an old log cabin from I think 1798.
Wow.
Across the river, my cousin owns. They own a house that it could be registered. It's a brick and mortar house, and it's been there since like I think 1810 or something like that.
Okay.
So.
How big is the property?
Across the river?
No, your property.
My property is like under 600 acres.
Oh, okay, that's sizable. And then it butts up to the National Forest, correct?
Yeah, all George Washington National Forest borders me. It's kind of a weird track. The government bought all around us in hopes to buying us out, I think. It's kind of how my great-grandmother put it. And we kind of outlast them. And so now that the road's been closed, the National Forest were misusing their road for years. My grandmother took them to court and actually won it. They wrote her a nice letter about apologizing for misusing their road for many years, and they no longer have a easement across us any longer. Okay. So we're kind of nestled in there, one way in, one way out kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's pretty unique.
And that's awesome because like when you're backed up to public land, it's almost like just more land because technically you're a public landowner as well. So
and it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy accessible. You either have to canoe across, or you go to Page County or Shenandoah County and come in on the a fire road, access road.
Yeah,
people do that.
So what was it like growing up in the mountains out there and just on all that land?
I kind of I guess took it for granted for many years, but average day would be if get on your 4-wheeler, go set up, and then just like walk the woods and primarily cut your teeth on shooting squirrels.
Yeah.
And, I think it was about 8. I was probably about 8 or 7 when my dad cut me loose and let me take my side-by-side 410 shotgun out. And I was smoking these squirrels, and he cleaned like, I don't know, 20 squirrels that first week. And then he's like, you got to do it your own. And
Yeah.
so like by 8 years old, I'm, skinning squirrels, caping out raccoons, doing a little trapping, and
Nice.
just kind of fishing and hunting nonstop.
When did you start deer hunting?
Like 7.
Yeah.
So
When did you get your first deer?
I think I was probably about that 8 years. I was 9 because
Wow.
I bought this shotgun with my 4-H money from my animals, because 9 years is when you're old enough to show animals. So
Okay, so you won. What animals were you showing?
I was showing, beef. At that time, I was showing 2 pigs, some goats, and some sheep. And
That's cool. And you won money, and with that money you bought your...
Yeah, you auction off 4-H
Okay.
project. You learn the checks and balances, and you do your little book, and then
That's
you
cool,
sell
man.
your product, and then pay back your parents for loaning food money to you.
Okay.
So I used the profits to buy side-by-side 410 shotgun.
Nice.
And
That's cool.
got a lot
You
of
shot your first deer with that?
yeah,
Okay. Like just buckshot or...
buckshot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Do you remember vividly, like the story, what happened, how it happened?
It was just just sitting there under. I had an old apple tree out there. And
Yeah.
you've seen the spot. I was just where my horse is. Before
Okay.
there was no horse there at the time, and
Like by the river?
yeah, by the river.
Okay.
So the deer would come out every evening. I was just set up, sit there with my dad on the fence row, just sitting there
Okay.
in a little chair, and then
That's
popped
awesome,
out about 40 yards and just let them have it. It was about it.
That's cool, man. So you had like a really like, I don't know, traditional like agricultural kind of upbringing.
Yeah. I was on the farm. Dad ran beef cattle. He worked a couple jobs. So like when I was a little younger, he transitioned in '89 to do the turkeys, which you see in the turkey
Yeah.
barns. And so he could quit working down here. He worked for William H. Hazel. It's a big outfit down here in your area.
What do they do?
They do clearing,
Okay.
prep sites and stuff. I mean, they're huge. They do irrigation, road building and stuff.
Yeah.
Hazel's big company. So he worked for them for like 16 years, and then he worked additional 5 years once he started the farm to make sure the farms took off enough, and then he quit his job down here. And
Okay. So that was '89. You started the poultry business. So you're still in the poultry business, correct?
Yep. We're a cooperative now. Used to be Wampler, Longacre, then Pilgrims, Pride for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And then, they dropped us, and then the farmers got together, and it was a unique situation and perfect storm for say. Bob Goodlap helped with some tax credits. The power company, Shenandoah Valley Electric Cooperative, got with it. USDA came in. Everybody came together. Dietz and Watson put some money up, and then us farmers, and we got a cooperative now that's been very successful since '04.
So there's a bunch of poultry
Yeah.
farmers like around you, or
Not more Rockingham County,
Yeah.
Shenandoah. I'm the only poultry farm in Warren County.
okay. So are you still pretty involved in the day to day of the actual?
Yeah, I'm in the barns every day.
Yeah. What kind of stuff are you doing?
So like mortality, you go through in the mornings. You'll walk up and down the barns, pick up any type of dead. You check your feed lines, water lines, and then you check litter quality and obviously ventilation, and check make sure there's no pneumonia. I have a traditional barn, so it's curtains and they get natural air, natural light. Newer barns are more tunneled, so it'll just be lighting in it, and then more fans on the end.
So like, do they like reproduce kind of just on their own, or is that a really controlled process? Or?
It's controlled. We'll get our birds from a couple companies like Ag Forte is the biggest. That's who we primarily get our hybrids, and there's hybrids and Nicholas birds.
Okay, so they're not recreating or reproducing in there. You're
No,
buying them.
they're at a hatchery, and a
Okay.
hatchery, they have
Gotcha.
have farms that produce eggs just for those hatcheries, and
Yeah.
you can only buy it through a select few.
And then I guess when they get to a certain age, then another company like picks them up and takes them to slaughter. Or
No,
you do all that?
we do the slaughter. So they'll go out. We own our own processing facility in Hinton.
Okay.
And they process probably right now about 6 million pounds of product a week.
Whoa.
And it's fresh. We don't freeze the birds. It goes straight from farm to table, within a week or two.
So you kind of go through, I guess I'm sure once they reach a certain age or a certain size, then
so we grow heavy toms. Yeah, heavy toms. Right now I do a finish only style. We have hub farms that start birds from babies. So you'll get them the day they're born, raise them to 5 weeks. I get them in at 5 weeks old and I raise them till they're 19.
Okay.
And then when they go out, they're a 42-pound Jake.
Okay.
And then my company, we have our own trucks. They're
all males.
Yeah. Well, you'll have hens. They just can't. They can't do. They do the best they can with sexing them. But yeah, primarily they'll be all. Majority will be toms.
Yeah.
But you'll have hens in there.
And so, do you own your own processing facility? So then, is it like, does it go into some kind of just national distribution then, or like do you sell locally? How's it like
that's on the sales team. Like I got a couple leads for them right now. So Dietz and Watson's our #1 buyer.
Yeah.
So they're buying the breast meat for lunch meat and stuff
okay,
like that.
Okay.
Then
do you sell any like whole bird?
Yeah,
like if I wanted one for Thanksgiving, can I get one from you?
You could off my farm if I had one side. Like it would be a cull bird.
Okay.
It's something I would have to cull. But no, they don't really do whole birds. Like they'll do pull enough whole birds for production just to give to the co-op.
Okay.
So we get a free.
Is that a whole separate business, like the whole like whole bird Thanksgiving kind of deal?
Yeah, yeah, that's primarily. So we're growing heavy toms. You're looking at 42 pounds.
So
they pull
huge.
They pull the hens. The hens will be smaller, and you'll still get a 32 to 34 pound whole bird, which is most ovens can't handle a turkey that size or fryers.
Yeah, it kind of like when you said that, it didn't really register, but that 42, that's a big.
Yeah,
that's a big.
And I'll send you some pictures of what the breast meat look like. It's just massive. They really go for the breast. Like we're out here killing wild turkeys, and when I'm cutting their breast out, it looks like a deflated.
Yeah, they look like emaciated compared to
to their meat. But they're getting a lot of good protein. We do a soybean corn mix.
Yeah.
Sometimes wheat for fillers, and they're just they're getting the food and water. We have our water systems put in to give perfect pH level for them, and they just make it more desirable for them to drink and healthier for them. And it's really they're just eating and drinking tons of food. I mean, one flock will eat like 2.2 million pounds of feed in like a 13-week period.
Dang, man.
So they're crushing it. And that's 22,000, 23,000 birds.
So, I mean, that's a huge operation just getting all that feed in there.
Yes, a lot of feed truck visits.
They go up that little dirt road and the big trucks go up there, I guess?
Yeah. When they come and pick them up, they'll pick them up a 53-foot.
Go by your aunt's house 2 miles an hour and everything?
Yeah. Rattling the cages.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's. Have you ever get like a random wild tom come in there and like kind of check it out and like fight them or anything?
Yeah, I just got pictures of a couple wild turkeys cleaning out, pulling all the litter out, and the wild turkeys are climbing up in the turkey litter.
Like what's going on?
They're just chilling around the barn. I got a couple hens there right now. When I left, it was just wild turkeys. But I've had a whole flock of wild turkeys come up, gobble.
Yeah.
During springtime, and then they're 10,000 birds at one time are gobbling back and forth.
I bet they're like, what is going on?
And they're just like firing back and forth. So it's some pretty cool stuff you see.
Is it a good hunting spot right there by the turkeys?
Yeah, it's not too bad. We got a lot of wild turkeys. I've been doing deer management and pretty much wildlife management for the past 14 years.
Okay.
So we really, I want quality animals. It's really not about killing every year for me. Obviously, we're at that point we do that, but just want quality, healthy animals.
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue. So, have you seen? You've been on that farm since you were born. How old are you now? Do you mind if I ask?
36.
Okay. So, have you seen the deer herd? Like, how has the deer and the turkey herd changed since you were a kid? Or has it?
I don't think I really noticed it. Now the quality of the past 14 years, the quality of mature bucks being harvested compared to like now we can ride and you'll see those, like that picture I sent you of the bachelor herd.
Yeah.
You'll see nice bachelor herds of bucks and not to say there wasn't 150, 180 class bucks back in the 80s.
Yeah.
They were there, but the this wishing and praying that there's going to be a 180-inch buck kind of goes out the window if you're constantly shooting those 1-year-old, 2-year-old little scrub 8 points. And,
right.
And not to take away from it, if that's a trophy for whoever that, you know, I kind of had walked that fine line. I've evolved pretty quick over the years from that. Initially, I was like, I don't want to shoot nothing unless it's 3.5-year-old. But then I had to educate myself to be better at knowing what a 3.5-year-old buck was and a 4-year, and then to expect, you know, my dad's buddies, since he's passed away, and, you know, we keep that same type of core hunting group, to tell them what a 3.5-year-old buck is to a 5-year-old, you know, it's probably impossible. And so I kind of, over the years, mimicked some of the Southampton, Virginia, where, like, I consider my uncle, Rusty Hancock, he's down there, he mounts all my deer for me, and they kill, you know, gorgeous hammer bucks down there on those.
There's some big deer
beans on those beans, and he, you know, I kind of mimicked some of their hunt clubs, like one and you're done, or whatever. But I just, my goal was to not alienate other hunters, and that's something, you know, coming up. You know, that's why I do the youth hunts and the veteran hunts. And past 8 years to 9 years has just been a goal of mine to introduce anywhere from 6 to now it's like 15. My goal is 15 new hunters. To the outdoors, and I'm talking like older, you know, friends I do jiu-jitsu with that are from the city that never had an opportunity or knows anyone how to hunt, and then just giving them the tools to, you know, go out on their own and start hunting. So it's something I'm passionate about, because our numbers are depleting by the years.
Hunter numbers, you mean?
Hunters, and just, you know, there's no hunting, there's no conservation.
Absolutely. So because where you are in the mountains, you know, versus like a Southampton County, or like where I'm coming from and where I was in Chesapeake, like, and other like agricultural areas, the deer densities are just naturally lower. Do you, like, how is that the case on your property as well, or is since you kind of got a river bottom right there, is it not as?
It's tough hunting. Like, you know, you can go in the woods and, you know, watching like Steve Ranella or whatever on Meat Eater, and, you know, growing up and seeing the Pennsylvania herds, like, you'll go hunting, and like 3 days in, you'll be like, oh, I've seen a deer. You're just happy to see a deer. And you go to Southampton and Chesapeake area, and you'll go out every evening in the fields, and you'll see 50 to 60 deer at times. Same in Texas. Texas is just the mecca of having tons of deer. So, my herd is way better now, because I can almost guarantee you we're going to see a deer every time we go out in the woods. It's not going to be a shooter every time. But just having that, and then the buck to doe ratio that I've really created there, it's awesome. You know, it's like your baby.
It's cool to be able to like manage a piece of land, see how it's changing over year, and see like the fruits of your efforts and stuff.
No, it's very rewarding, and I get more off taking new hunters, and Ryan come out and seen he had opportunity to shoot a really big buck, didn't work out for him. But that's hunting.
Weapon malfunction.
Yeah, so
it's funny because like that the same. I just put an antelope video out like not long ago, and he was shooting the same gun my cousin was shooting, handed down from his grandfather. Same thing. First 3 times he pulls the trigger, because he hadn't shucked that shell in.
Well, the old trick is with the pumps is, like, I got a 270 pump and a 30-06 like that. You always keep that forward pressure on that gun. And that's the trick of the trade. Like, you'll get to where you didn't really shuck it, but if you had that forward pressure, your gun goes off. So even just that little micro adjustment with those pumps.
So Ryan Munsey, our friend, missed a huge buck with the same gun that my cousin almost missed that antelope on in the video, because it's just known for you have to really hit that thing hard.
And to be fair, it wasn't a miss. It's just a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I didn't miss it.
So Brian's like, man, I missed.
But where were we? I took us off the trail.
No, we're still on the
managing
the herd.
Do you do any food plots and stuff?
Yes, I do. You know, like
Or are there things you can do to? Because everyone says, oh, mountains, deer densities are low. Is there anything as a landowner that you can do to try to increase your actual size of your deer herd, or your density of deer?
I think it's just, initially, if you want more does, obviously you're going to let deer go.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you might have to sacrifice a year to really focus on letting those animals go and letting them self-populate.
Yeah.
Because obviously you kill the deer, but if if you're killing 20 or 30 off your property every year, you just spent 1 year and let them reproduce and procreate.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to double that herd. So, you know, obviously, and it's always good. Like Virginia has a good program, a DMAT program, where they can, depending on what you want to do with your deer herd on your property, the state can help you, assist you. And
cool.
Then you'll do pull data for them, jawbones. And,
Yeah, my old hunt club, we used to do that.
Yeah. So you can get into that if you have a smaller piece of property. You know, you just got to trust in that process that I'm going to let this deer go and then I'm going to build it from there. But for mountain land, I think I have a really good herd. You know, everybody gets enough meat because, you know, all my hunters are meat eaters.
Yeah.
And they're not they're not wealthy in that sense. So, you know, a lot of our diet consists of not, you know, they can't afford beef. So we're going to stock up our freezer and, you know,
for sure.
And they have a kid and it's just, you know, they'll kill their two. So right now I'm doing kind of like a trophy buck. We have cull bucks now. I can identify cull bucks. I have tons of cameras out. So I kind of put a little hit list up for shoot on sight. And then, and they're great for the kids too, if you can get them on them. And I kind of just, you know, two does and one buck, kind of the ratio we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, occasionally, you know, if it's a trophy to you, I don't really, it went from like trying to there, but I'd rather them shoot a spike than shoot that 3-year-old or that 2.5-year-old buck. You know, by the time they're 3.5, that's a trophy for anyone.
Yeah.
You know, in our area where we grew up, where you're just used to seeing these little scrub bucks and you see a nice mainframe 1.5, 2.5-year-old because they're getting good, you know, getting good quality food from the food plots I put out on the river bottoms.
Yeah.
Or I put, you know, little micro pinch points up there in the mountains, all the little cleared areas where half-acre little spots for them to kind of go in and eat. And then also I create deer sanctuaries similar to where there's, you know, no riding through with ATVs or anything, low pressure. Yeah. Kind of just, you know, let them be deer. Yeah. In a safe environment.
Is the turkey the same as far as like less dense than maybe some flat land areas, or is your turkey herd pretty good?
Man, we have tons of turkey this year, and we're going to have a phenomenal spring gobbler season this year. There's, you know, at least, you know, 8 or 10 flocks, big flocks of turkeys we had that made it. A lot of babies made it through. We do have, you know, a coyote issue, which most people do, but I couldn't tell this year. It was just a really good year for them. I think the cicadas helped out.
Oh, yeah.
A lot
I feel like it was pretty wet. I don't know. It seems like a really good acorn year this year. Is that the case where you're at?
Yeah, and they, you know, there's old almanac sayings for the acorn. We're primarily all hardwoods. Okay. So, you know, these deer are getting groves and groves of white oak, black oak, chestnut oak. I mean, there's tons of, you know, probably 85% to 90% of the woods are all hardwoods where I'm at. Yeah. So they're producing food for them there as well. I think acorns, I've always heard like sometimes if it's a wet year, acorns will be good. I also heard if it's a dry year. So
yeah, I don't know.
I'm not very familiar on that aspect. But right now it looks like it's going to be a good year. The turkey population's probably, I mean, I don't see why you couldn't go up here and kill 20 longbeards this year.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool for a mountain style.
I bet it's beautiful too in the spring.
Yeah. And then, you know, you're rolling up and you're always trying to pick out up high or down low. And obviously you want to be on high ground for a turkey, but sometimes it don't work out that way. He'll fly off and go 2 ridges over. And
oh, that's cool, man. And then what about, do you have a decent black bear population? Or
black bear has it actually exploded compared to what, I mean, it was unheard of when growing up of someone killing a black bear up there. And then now
I talked to the people at, in the Shenandoah Park. I talked to one of the rangers the other day, and she said at one point there was 2 black bears in Shenandoah National Park.
Yep.
And now they're like a lot.
No, there's tons. And then I think that helped. And then when they were relocating,
From Pennsylvania, right?
They'll just drop them off there on the national park.
Yeah.
And I think they did that for a while. Front Royal is really bad for dumpster bears.
Oh, really?
So like if you come through Chrysler before you get on Skyline Drive, because we're the gateway, we're the beginning of Skyline Drive, there's these bears that have no fear, and they'll be 300 plus pound bears.
Oh my gosh!
Just in the dumpsters at the apartment complex on the backside.
So do you bear hunt out at your place, or?
Yeah, we bear hunt. I've killed one decent one around 300-pound range, and then
how do you guys hunt them? Do you hounds or still hunt them?
I still hunt.
Yeah.
I keep them on camera. The higher ridges, they stay active, actively moving, and it's just kind of luck of the draw. They come in there sometimes to the food plots, sometimes they just bear. I don't know how many. When I first started putting game cams out like 9 years ago, and really got into it, the bears just ripped my game cams up.
Yeah.
But the past 6 years, knock on wood, they haven't messed with them. So primarily still hunt. I know a good friend of mine, he has an outfitting business, Double Spur Outfitters.
Cool.
He has a nice campground there in Star Tannery, Virginia, outside Frederick and Shenandoah. But Cedar Creek, he has a bunch of trout fishing. He does trout fishing there, but he runs bear dogs.
Okay.
So occasionally I'll get the bear hunters. They'll come through. I'm 600 acres in the middle of Oasis for the bears. So I think with the pressures of the bear dogs hunting other areas on George Washington National Forest, like Elizabeth Furnace and Milford Gap and Beaches Gap, they push these bears on us naturally.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I like Levi. He did it the respectful way. Dogs came over on us. We chatted and kind of hit it off. I've had other bear hunters that just felt entitled,
right,
to stroll in on your property and think you're gonna let them shoot a bear. And I'm like, well, no, law is you walk up and get your dogs and then you leave.
Yeah.
And as a landowner, I kind of walk that fine line because I'm here for the common man hunting on a big hunting on Sundays advocate, just because working man, they only get one day, and it's
right.
That extra day means a lot. And then also just hunting national forests, like I get a lot of requests where I'm at, and I'm like, I'm obligated at a hunt club, and then for me to do it a little different, that's why I do like youth days and stuff like that. But bear dogs, it's awesome if you're on a hunt. Hunting with those dogs with the bears are particularly cool. Like my Uncle Rusty down in Southampton, he's got some incredible bear dogs. They hunt North Carolina, and then he goes
there's some big bears down
up
there,
in
man.
Covington on the West Virginia line in Virginia, and they hunt big bear up there.
Yeah.
But
we had some big ones in Chesapeake. Even,
you guys kill some monster, and he's got the only bear dogs in that area of Southampton.
Okay.
They kill some big ones.
So tell me a little bit about your hunter recruitment kind of project thing. What's the name of it? Or do you have a name?
It's just it's Hazard Mill Youth Day.
Okay.
I call it Hazard Mill Farms Youth Day. Partnered with BAO, which is Black American Outdoorsman.
Uh-huh.
Great group of men and women that love the outdoors, are passionate about. My best friend TJ, he's in management in that organization. Hit it off. I tried to do a couple other groups here and there, and no one was real serious about it. And I said, hey TJ, I want to help with this project. Would you guys be interested? And the goal was to introduce 6 kids to the great outdoors, take them out hunting, and the only requirement was these kids had zero opportunity, zero information on how to hunt, fish, anything.
That's awesome.
And
how old are the kids?
5 and up usually. Okay. But we have about an 80% harvest success rate, so it's really cool. Generally, the success rate's a little lower for the couple 5-year-olds that done it.
5 is young. Is it a one-day hunt or?
It's a 2-day hunt.
Okay.
We do Saturday. They come in on Friday, which will be not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Oh, cool.
They'll come in Friday. Last year, we partnered with Levi with Double Spur Outfitters. He allowed his trout stream to be used by the kids. So a few kids showed up, and I think the adults were bigger kids trying to catch trout. So we went over to his place, which was awesome. Caught some trout. Then Saturday we wake up. They camp out with their family.
Cool.
Wake up. We'll do a gun safety intro. And what's great about TJ and them, they'll fundraise. They get the funds, and then they get the kids decked out. So they'll get all their hunting gear, from boots, coveralls, pants, shirts, the whole nine.
Nice.
They'll get decked out to the gills in their outfits. They'll do a little presentation, give all the kids their stuff. We'll do the demo. Usually, either my friend is chief of police or one of my NRA instructor friends will come out, do that. Last year we added one of their members. She came out. She does archery instruction as well. So cool. She taught the kids how to shoot the bows, and awesome time the kids had, and look to keep building it. But they'll we'll go up, shoot up my shooting range, not the one in the woods, but close to my house at Shell Pit. They'll get familiar with the weapons.
What kind of weapons do they?
They use I got tons of youth rifles I bought for.
Okay.
It's like I see a kid, and I just buy a bunch of youth rifles from when I was younger, and then just mainly for this hunt. When I bought like 350 Legends or 450 Bushmasters, bolt action, Ruger, short, anywhere from a 30-30, and depending on the kid size, they'll get the little bigger calibers. They'll shoot, get on paper, we'll make them confident, and I'll do that portion of it. And then a couple of my buddies that hunt on the property, I use them as guides.
Nice.
And then some of the BOA staff, they'll go out, and then we just cook for them and take them out.
Cool,
and they'll
hunt like Saturday evening and then Sunday morning?
Yep.
Okay.
And then, whichever first one to harvest, I'll break it down and I'll butcher it for them. And
show them how to do it.
Show them how to skin it out.
That's super cool, man. That's a really cool thing. You said that's not this weekend, but next weekend?
Yeah, next weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I'd love to come out and just check it out sometime and maybe get some footage or something.
Now that would be awesome to get them some limelight. Just maybe other people. Just as long as we can inspire other landowners to kind of open up, because it's a little different. You become friends with someone and be like, okay, bring your boy out and we're going to go hunting.
Yeah.
That's usually how it happens. But I was like, man, we really need to I got kids coming from North Carolina, from Atlanta, Georgia, New Jersey. Yeah. And then I keep a couple local kids as well on that list. And
I mean, it's hard enough for in the South, Southeast, there's not a ton of public land opportunity. No. And so it's hard enough even as like an adult to find a place to hunt. If you're a kid and you don't want to hunt and like your dad's not like really into it or something, or you don't have a dad, like you're pretty much like, you're out of luck.
Unless you really do your research, and then it's years of frustrating. Going to landowner is very intimidating for one. If you luck out and actually find a private piece of property you can hunt, I recognize that, and I know public land hunting. I do hunt public land. Yeah. Granted, some of it's bordering me, but it's hard. And then if they know how to approach it, or just give them that bug, to give them that inspiration, be like, man, I really enjoyed hunting, or I really want to hunt for my own food. And
just having the confidence of like, okay, I at least know where to start, and then you can kind of go from there and learn on your own as you go.
Yeah, because like the kids are coming from Atlanta. I mean, they're coming from Atlanta. Yeah, like there's nowhere to hunt in Atlanta for them. So like their grandmother's bringing them up. She brought 2 of their grandbabies last year, and she's bringing 2 more.
That's awesome, man.
And
well, that's really cool. You do that.
No, it's awesome. I love that. I do a veteran hunt as well. I hope to expand that. I don't know, man. We just feel like more we can do, just a little here and there.
Yeah, ways to give back.
Yeah, I'm blessed to have that property, and I'm more inclined to help people that have zero opportunities and just expand them.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So, and then you're involved in that and some other kind of community stuff, and and I know that you got a political race coming up, huh?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What inspired you? Tell me what you're doing, and then what inspired you to get into that.
Well, I'm running for Virginia State Senate.
Nice.
And maybe it's a newly formed District 1 with these moving of the lines. Okay. So there's no incumbent. Wide open seat.
Oh, okay. Okay. So when did they redo the redistricting?
Last year.
Okay.
So they redistrict everything for 2023. They moved my good friend, Congressman Ben Klein, up to Winchester area now. Okay. We were the cutoff in Warren, but now he took Winchester and Clark County, which those folks in Frederick County are, not all of them, but the 75% Republicans are very excited about having a Republican representing them opposed to Wexton or whatever her name was.
She Wexton's a Democrat, right?
Yeah.
And then the guy, just to get off, so the guy running against her is this guy Hung Cao, right?
Yeah.
He seems like a pretty good dude.
Man, he's phenomenal.
He's a Vietnam, or not Vietnam vet, but
he's Vietnamese.
He's a Vietnamese, but he's an Iraq war vet, right?
Yes. Yeah, and that guy is a rock star, man.
Yeah.
He's on point. I'm really excited about that race. I know Yunkin has been out helping him and Vega.
Yeah.
The other lady that's smart as we got some really good candidates. It's a really exciting year for at least the Republican Party. We had Rich Anderson out from RVP speaking at I had a pig roast I'm the chairman of the Warren County Republicans as well.
Okay.
And he came out and spoke on it, and it's just, we got some momentum going.
Yeah.
And hopefully the right direction for the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
And get this house back and worry about getting this back. I know I'm a member of the Hunter Nation as well, a lifetime member. So I know they were really focusing on 20 congressional districts so they can flip, us hunters.
Yeah.
And that's a really cool program. And I encourage anybody that listens to the podcast that's an outdoorsman hunter. I think it was like 60% of all hunters don't vote, or it was a crazy high number where we need to pay attention and really. That's a great program. Ted Nugent's one of their top spokesmen, Uncle Ted. He's an awesome guy. But it's a great program. A lot of hunting industries backing that, and we're able to create a PAC and put money behind outdoor candidates and people that have our interest and pursuit of happiness and life and all that good stuff. But yeah, so I'm running for state senate, District 1. There's right now I think there's like 8 other Republicans seeking that nomination.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of in coast mode till after this first year. I feel that I'm doing meet and greets and chatting, and it's really great community support. I'm really tied in with the community. I think I sit on 3 different nonprofit boards throughout there, from Habitat for Humanity to Thermal Shelter, House of Hope, which is a men's shelter to help get men back on their feet that are working, and then some other Reaching Out Now, which helps kids find their way in school. So we're a little faith-based with it, but it's open to all, and it's just kind of giving the kids directions why they're going to college, if they're going to college, not discouraging trades or anything, but it's a great program. It started out as they started that, and then COVID hit. Yeah. And it was a feeding program where we were providing like 189 to 200 meals per week to families that needed food and kids that went to school and stuff. So it was a cool program there. Being a farmer, my thing is I believe everyone should be able to eat. We're in the greatest country in the world. Yeah. And there's no reason we can't at least feed and house the poor poverty level. And granted, you got to work to eat, but we make enough to give back to create areas to help people.
Yeah, and I'm excited for you because, obviously I like you, you're a good guy, but also just, I think that the political landscape in America was designed it was really designed for guys like you, like guys like Jefferson, who are like gentlemen Virginian farmers, that decided to, that were involved with the community and wanted to give back. And so I think it's great that you're running. Excited for you, and I think that we need more guys like you in office. So, but what inspired you to kind of want to do that? Because it's like I told you before, my dad was in the Virginia State Senate, so I know that it's a big time and financial commitment. It's not easy. It's work, and so what made you want to do that?
It's pretty much just the political landscape at the moment, and I'm fed up. I probably speak for most of everyone out here that just a solid blue collar background, or just our values are always under attack. We're always apologizing for stuff. We need to. I wish it was as easy as I was in there for 4 years, and I could be like, hey, it's your turn, and hand it, or inspire. I think we need I thought about creating a PAC just to help financially support blue collar individuals, mothers, fathers, truck drivers. We need to get back to some common sense based policies, and it's just not. Everything's overlooked. Everything's demonized, I guess, in the media. And even Fox News can be at blame to poke the bear. But I think if we just go back to common sense, putting policies out there that is in black and white, we can read it, and it would stop any type of division. I just went across the country. Everybody I talked to was really pleasant. Went through 9 different states, and it's just not the way media personifies it. So that's kind of what I wanted to bring, that even kill. I want more community leaders to get involved.
Yeah.
It's not time for career politicians. It's not. What, like them or not, Trump did kind of break down that barrier that was the elitists, and
right.
How you look at it, most of these kids are pages, and they are groomed to be a politician.
Yeah.
Like it or not. And there's always that, and I'm sure your dad shook it up a little bit, so I think more business owners, entrepreneurs, just people in general need to,
totally.
You got to step up and stop some of these policies that be coming through. I think locality, we had issues. So Warren County was part of one of the largest EDA scandal in the country. It's like $19 million came up missing. Our sheriff, former sheriff, and a bunch of other officials were involved.
Ooh.
So it was real messy there back in 2018, 19. I was friends with some of these people, and some of them got caught up in this scandal, and things happen. Well, 19 million came up missing. The EDA director, she's still running around, but they did arrest her. Now there's all these indictments. So finally, justice is being served to recouping money. After 4 years.
Was there somebody just skimming off the top?
No, it was the EDA director was writing receipts out, forging receipts, just giving money to family.
What's EDA?
Economic development.
Okay.
And they do like loans for businesses. Like there's EDA here and anywhere your counties, localities, and there's they give out loans for businesses essentially. So they had IT Federal was the big gimmick, and they were going to take over.
But was it just that one lady that just basically stole $19 million?
Not just her. It was family members. Like she would be like, "Oh, you're my family," and then they created LLCs and bought up land, and then they resold land and laundered money that way. So it's huge. You can look it up. Front Row Virginia EDA scandal. There's a bunch of stuff on it.
Wow.
So just seeing that type of corruption at a local level, a lot of board supervisor members and localities, I think there's some laws we need to change there.
Yeah.
Just general, trying to clean stuff up.
Yeah, man. Let me just make sure my battery's doing all right, just for me. Yeah, we're good. So the other thing that I think is cool about you is I think there's like more than meets the eye to you. I think like some people like see you and be like, oh, he's a farmer or whatever. He's like a redneck or something. But no, like you're involved in minority groups. You kind of like you're more, like you're willing to listen to people of other ideals or whatever, different lifestyles.
Yeah.
You're like you said, more that common sense approach. I feel like you might be the type of guy who, since a lot of it's coming from the outside as a business owner and stuff like that, like you're willing to talk to people from across the aisle or whatever, and do stuff that like makes sense, not just like always toe the party line. And I think that's important too. I mean, obviously most of the time what I align with is kind of traditional Republican values and stuff like that, but there are some times where the Republicans get it wrong or whatever, and I think we need people who are willing to, like I said, look at it from a common sense perspective. So is that kind of something that's important to you?
Yeah, very very important. Like even when I did the political stuff and talked to the consultants, I was like, man, I can't be a politician. I'm not a politician.
Yeah, you gotta be true to who you are.
And I'm probably not the easiest to work with, so I appreciate Lauren and Jimmy always working with me. They did Daniel Gade's Senate run when he ran for U.S. Senate against Warner, but and they do a bunch of other stuff. It's just, for me, I talked to the Virginia caucus, for state Senate, and Mark Obashay, who's my state senator right now. So kind of like when you're going back to that question, like, why did I run? Well, to be honest with you, I never thought I would be able to, because I got Mark Obashay and then I got Todd Gilbert, and Todd Gilbert's the Speaker of the House. So there's, was zero opportunity for Robert, to jump, unless one of those guys ever retired. And it's not that I still, wanted to do it. It's just, it's something that I feel, I'm willing to put the 1 or 2 terms in to full capacity to.
Was it a recent thing where you kind of decided you want to do it, or have you thought about wanting to do it for a while?
Growing up, I was always, if you want something done right, do it yourself kind of attitude. Yeah. That's how you don't work, you don't eat. That's kind of what I wanted to instill in the children. But no, it's just after my daughter, she's 5, we're homeschooling her this year just to see how it goes. Because public school can be scary.
Dude, I cannot put my kids in public school right now. And they're teaching kindergartners like about picking your own gender.
Yeah, no, it's too much. Like,
that's too much.
My main platform issues were basic life skills back in class. However you want to cut it, we need gun safety, we need gun education, we need mental health practices. We need to teach the kids, just common practices. If from teaching, I teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I got 2 studios, but for me to teach kids is like you have to have an end game, and you have to be able to apply it. So if we're teaching math, they need to apply it to a checkbook, or they need to apply it to basic life skills that they're going to. I wish I knew about tax preparation.
Yeah.
Because when my father died, I was 22. I didn't know nothing about taxes because he claimed me because I was going to college.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it was. And I was thrown into this fire. So that's kind of my life experiences, and by no means I'm very blessed in many ways, but I've also went through, your own tragedies, which most people do anyway. But I feel like, how can I make it better for the next person or the next generation? So we really need to get our schools straight. And I know Youngkin, they ran on that parents' choice, but it's not over with. Like by no means. Our Virginia is contradicted by, obviously they're not technically a union here, but it is a teachers union. And, they are primarily Democrat, and they are primarily focused on and pronouns and all this stuff these kids do not need to know.
Right.
CRT, they said, well, it's not CRT. They just changed it, like social studies for us. Like it was they just changed the name of a different type of history program. Yeah. And if we're just, being honest with each other, I don't know, poor kids don't stand a chance. They need to, teach that you don't work, you don't eat mentality. That's why, I thoroughly believe why we don't have the workforce we do that we need right now, because there's a job shortage or worker shortage. It's because these kids don't, they haven't been taught a value. You've been coddled. Like, it's okay if your feelings are hurt, you don't have to work. Yeah. No, it's just not the way it is in the real world. So I think if we can prepare our kids to be lions instead of sheep, it's good. That's kind of a good motto to live by.
And even teaching them something as simple as hunting skills is, I think, a step in the right direction. So, that's cool,
Yeah, they got to know where their food comes from. They got to know how to provide for themselves. Like, okay, we might not be able to, but you can always go out west, and there's going to be plenty of animals to hunt at the very least. Yeah.
Or just to know that, like, your food doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't come from a little package from the store. No. Like, somebody had to kill it, and, all that stuff. People might say, oh, it's just hunting, but it adds up to some real life values,
Oh, you put value behind, I don't really, and it gets to the point where I'm at a stage of hunting as well. I know, I follow Cam and them. He's the same, kind of has that philosophy where he doesn't really enjoy the kill. And I don't really get too wrapped up in when I harvest an animal, other than I'm just more, I guess as we get older, we appreciate, like, growing up on the farm now, like when I drive into my house, I'm like, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
You get to a point where you feel at home. Same thing with animals. When I harvest that animal, I'm so blessed that I was able to make an ethical kill and get that animal and get that, I enjoy feeding people. I enjoy, having meat for myself. And then I give, most of my friends that won't go hunting a bunch of crap for me having to give them deer meat or the deer jerky. When the deer jerky comes off, you're everybody's best friend.
Oh, of course,
you know that.
Everyone who doesn't hunt always talks about deer jerky.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, okay, don't get me wrong, I love deer jerky, but like my wife and my mother-in-law cook wild game so good.
Yeah.
Like I don't even want to waste it on jerky. I'm like, no. Like,
Yeah, same here.
yeah, they literally take stuff I used to leave on my gut piles and make it like amazing.
Yeah.
Like they will take a spine after it's been cleaned. I mean, cleaned, and then I'll cut the spine in thirds, and they'll put it in a instant pot.
Yeah.
And do some magic to it, and then you just like scrape all the stuff that your knife couldn't really get off that spine bone, and it's like the most tender, just delicious meat. Or like even the ribs, we had ribs like deer ribs the other night. So good. And yeah, like I love it too, man. I get satisfaction, of course, not only eating the meat myself, but looking at my little 3-year-old girl is probably eating more deer meat than most 90% of adults. Like she's been eating deer meat since she was a kid. When I called my son from Wyoming after I shot my antelope, the first thing he said was, "I wonder what antelope meat tastes like." And then I took him dove hunting the other day, and he was excited to get home. We cleaned the doves, and
That's awesome.
him and his little sister ate dove for dinner. And like just teaching them that, and me as a dad seeing like providing meat, like having fun and doing something I love, but also providing meat that is delicious and very healthy. Like it's awesome.
Well, that and your memory, you're always going to have that memory of you and your son.
That's how my dad took me. It started me hunting, just taking me dove hunting.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to bring that full circle, man. I know you kind of mentioned it a little bit too, but is your faith a part of your life in terms of how you kind of carry yourself day to day? Because I know you got like a strong, moral compass and a desire to help people. Where does that come from?
I don't know. Probably, my great grandmother. Where she lived, I was raised by her till I was like 9. So like that was my babysitter after, and that's how she was. She was always out and about in the community, little and next to not. They grew up poor farmers.
Yeah.
And then she worked for the National Forest cleaning the bathrooms at Elizabeth Furnace and all these other forest access stuff up till she died. She worked till she was 86 years old.
Wow.
Her sister, half sister and stepsister, they walked across, like it was eerie picture. They took a picture of them, but they were in their 70s hiking Milford Gap over to Fort Valley.
Wow.
With a little knapsack on their shoulders, doing what they did when they were, little girls in the valley. But the way they took the picture is all the order they passed away in. But it was, she was always on the go. Probably the kindest woman you ever meet. Christian based. We don't go to church very often, and I feel my outdoors is my church, and I do occasionally make service when I can at certain churches, and I just enjoy going different churches and meeting different people and seeing how they practice. But we're primarily a primitive Baptist upbringing.
I mean, going to church doesn't really. For me, it's more about like your personal spiritual connection to God or whatever. I mean, church is good, but that doesn't like make or break your spirituality.
Yeah, and just growing up with family members that are Catholic or other, they're on time every time. So if they miss a mass, they're going to make it up or scramble to do stuff like that. But for her, it was just once a month. They would go to church first Sunday of every month because you're a farmer. Yeah. You ain't got time to, you're missing time in the fields. You're missing time, valuable work time. Yeah. So kind of just her. She was the first. She sold Stanley goods. I don't know if people are familiar, but it's like a little homemaker thing. They'd ride around and sell stuff.
Okay.
But she would sell to like the black community, and I mean, I just grew up with a saint and a role model like no other. So like she would go up, and they all know Miss Guy, and she was just but that's kind of where my compass comes from. I don't know, that, and then my 4-H leader, it's just always the people that have the less give the most.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, it's not like I'm some, billionaire, millionaire guy out here. My mind thinks is I can give you my last $20 because I know I can make it. Yeah. Just to kind of give my shirt off my back. So
not a poverty mindset. It's like what is it?
I guess a hustling mind.
Yeah.
But no, it's just that's kind of where it is. I'm by no means no perfect saint, or I think we always try to improve day by day.
Yeah.
I think jiu-jitsu helped with that too. That guy was a little wilder in my younger days.
Yeah.
So, and I'm probably still a little wild for most, but we still have, the times change. And definitely jiu-jitsu saved my life. I contribute that to a lot of, that's kind of my church. And that's my network. I met, I got friends that are Muslim. I got, and I consider these guys family. That's why I know it's not as bad as the media always puts it out with.
For sure,
yeah.
I mean, they make money off fear-mongering and creating division.
Incite fear to create votes.
Yeah.
That both sides do it.
Yeah. I don't even watch that garbage. Either Fox or CNN. I don't watch any of it.
No. I just occasionally catch whatever's on Instagram when it's scrolling through. Sometimes it's comical. The Martha Vineyard's really funny right now. Go Santos for sending Martha's Vineyard some immigrants.
Oh, that's funny, man. Well, yeah, that's cool, man. I had a really awesome saint of a grandmother myself too. So that's pretty cool, man. Like she was alcoholic when my dad was young.
Yeah.
But then got sober and was just like the best human in the world. I still have her little I think it's right here. Yeah. This is her this is an AA book called
AA
24 Hours a Day. You can see it's just completely destroyed, but this is her book that I still read it every day too. She was an awesome lady, but yeah, man, that's cool. So just the last thing before we kind of wrap it up here. I know you just got back from hunting out west and got a couple more hunts. What's left on the schedule for you this fall?
Yeah,
as far as hunts.
So yeah, we got back from Hayden, Colorado, hunted with Tom out there at Hooker Mountain. Outfitters, I'm always looking around that. It's kind of like you. We're always researching.
Oh yeah. I'm already looking at 23, man.
Yeah, same here. So I'm already booked in for him for next year. It was just an opportunity to have a really cool archery hunt. Wasn't he'll tell you you're coming out here to kill a trophy. We ain't the place. But I did see some really nice 6x6 300 class inch bulls that just 102 yards wasn't ethical to take that shot. Nor I also thought I could call them in a little bit closer, but it's elk hunting. Friends killed, harvest their first elk, which was cool to be a part of.
Yeah.
Ryan's my brother, and then his two buddies from West Virginia, from Fayetteville, they came down and they all got shots on one, two harvest, the other one got away, went on another property. So up next is I'm gonna go out to my buddy Jacobs, shoot one with the rifle.
Okay.
Out there in outside Hudson. It's more of a preserve, I would say, but they've done a really good job at reclaiming the grassland. Mm-hmm. That was their main mission of their property on the 7,000 acres. And then they were going to expand that. And they put a self-populating buffalo herd on their property too. Nice. So they do these crazy little vintage-looking buffalo hunts on a 1888 stagecoach with the horse, and you can dress up and look like you're
shoot with a sharp rifle.
Yeah, they do. They shoot them with sharps, and they shoot them with their 4570s or 4500s and stuff like that.
That's funny.
It's super awesome.
Yeah.
And then my big one, I lucked out. I'm a lifetime member of Muley Fanatics. That's a great group. They have a Blue Ridge chapter where I'm at. And I went to the banquet, signed up for lifetime membership. It's a great group because I won a bunch of stuff so far. So I won the CVA Optima, $700 CVA muzzleloader, which I do have I'm a night guy, so I shoot a Mountaineer night that's, I spent $1,200 on just for elk hunting.
Yeah.
For say.
I need to get my muzzleloader game up to par this off season.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But yeah, and then so I won this. They do these raffles for, reestablishing the mule deer population, which is devastated in Wyoming compared to what Wyoming was the mecca of shooting big mule deer. So they've had those issues. So Muley Fanatics have contributed to doing overpasses for animal overpasses. They do research on helping the mule deer population, not only in Wyoming, but all over. And they do some great work with getting these youth hunts and disability hunts for these kids. I mean, it's a great organization. But I won a commissioner's tag for Wyoming to hunt any unit in the state.
So it's any unit, any species, any season, right?
Yeah, any season. You can,
so you can literally, you have like a blank check to hunt Wyoming. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, except it wasn't a buffalo tag. So,
Okay.
so you can hunt mule deer, elk, or pronghorn. I'm an elk kind of guy.
Yeah.
And everyone I talk to, the elk tag is, right at the moment, it's the one to do.
Yeah.
So I'm doing unit 50, I think it's a unit 56 type 1 hunt.
Oh, you're dropping unit numbers. All right.
Yeah. There's only 10 of those tags they give out for that unit.
Wow, so it's not like people...
It's 100% success rate. It's a winter hunt in November.
Oh, wow.
Yellowstone Outfitters with Brandon, I'm going out. It's hunting that migratory herd coming off Yellowstone. And,
wow. That's gonna be sweet.
Originally I was going to go with like the Elk Mountain, Laramie Peaks area because I like those guys. They're farmer.
That's like northeast Wyoming? Or is that
southeast?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Laramie Peak. So it's a shorter drive time by a lot, but hunting something once in a lifetime, I'll probably never get to ever hunt that unit again.
Yeah.
To be real,
for sure, yeah.
So, and when they're throwing out 370 and up class animals, that piques your interest a lot.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that. It's gonna see my big butt get on a horse. I haven't been on a horse for a few years, so I might hit a buddy's family friend owns this horse breaking farm out there in Marshall. So
okay,
maybe I'll get out there and get on a horse and get refamiliarized.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be epic, man. It's in November.
It's a November hunt, snow, and it's kind of, you couldn't beat the accommodations. It's gonna be, they got an Airbnb cabin up there for us. We're gonna do about 6-8 miles every day on horseback, and it's just gonna be him, his wife, and 2 other guides, and it's just gonna be me.
Wow.
And hopefully someone will film it. It's the name of the game.
Yeah.
But now I'm really excited about that hunt, and might get a nice, never know, you might get that coveted 400-inch.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing.
They've killed them. They've killed a few 400-inchers, and it's just a wild unit. If you look it up, like obviously I've looked up, you're looking up units, and I spent like a good solid 24 hours of screen time, like where to go and not to waste this tag. So I think Yellowstone just was calling me. You're hunting right outside Cody, and I don't know. And it's kind of weird because I found the Yellowstone Outfitters, and that's who most of the guys with the Muley Fanatics, that they use the same outfitter, and I didn't even know.
Nice.
So
that's awesome, man.
Pretty cool. But that's what I got going on out west. I think my new goal was, obviously running for office will throw some curveballs at me if I do get elected. But yeah, I'm kind of like you. I wanted to get something new. I'm always hunted, mountain bucks in Shenandoah Valley.
It's a new adventure.
So it's a new adventure, new aspect. I do a lot of turkey hunting too, so we're going to hunt Osceolas in the spring.
Oh, cool.
So I got that hunt already booked, and then we're looking for, if any of your listeners out there, I know you Western states, we're looking for some Marion hunting to do this following year to book up. So always looking for suggestions and if you got any connections as well.
Yeah.
We're kind of looking at South Dakota. We looked at going further to Wyoming to hunt those birds, but
nice.
We're open for that hunt for booking the following year.
I got a couple friends that have done like the turkey slam.
Yeah,
and like done that, like one down like the Yucatan Peninsula, that like crazy looking like
the
green one.
The Gouliad.
Yeah.
The ghouls. Then you got ghouls in Mexico, and then you hunt the tropical one, the World Slam.
I got a buddy named Ryan Bassham. You should link up. He's a hunt consultant. He can find you anything, anywhere.
Nice.
He's killed like hundreds of waterfowl species. He's done like the Kyrgyzstan, ibex.
Man.
He's done everything.
That's crazy.
You should talk to that guy. That's cool, man. So if you do get elected, you think you'll be able to do anything with helping get more elk in Virginia? More elk tags?
I'm already working that right now. That I pitched it at the Advance at the homestead there. Everybody liked it. I know they got to do a little more numbers, but
the idea would be to bring some more elk in, not only to reestablish a once thriving herd, but also to bring in some revenue for Virginia DWR.
Yep.
And
revenue to get back into another mission. Like I've been on a few different stuff, but like even when I was on Theo Vaughn podcast, he let me talk about, my thing is save Virginia small farmers. I'm a farmer. How do we be creative? As a farmer, we got to be creative to make money and to not only just for us.
Even just like rural communities, like it's hard to sustain the economy of rural communities. This would be another thing with like guides, outfitters, even
stores will flourish.
Stores,
you know, people are going to be shopping. Restaurants will be able to provide. It just creates another aspect of tourism that we're not really capitalizing in.
Yeah.
You know, I have a plan. And got some wishful thinking, but if we can get like Congressman Klein, and he's behind this stuff too. If we can actually put the pin, like I'd like to start doing, obviously introducing elk in Highland and Bath County, just because Highland and Bath County Highland County is 2,500 people live in the entire county. A lot of national forest, and then the private land, the farmers that are left there, it's not cropland as much, so it's not going to damage.
Yeah.
If we put, say, I started with 50 cows, 25 bulls, you're going to be under that $700 probably $1 million investment on these animals, and you're going to get good quality 300-inch genetics bulls there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, the first year you get them acclimated, do auction off 5 tags for that hunt for bulls. Not all 5 are probably going to get killed, but if they do, and you allow them to go with maybe, some places use the game wardens or some type of guide or biologist preferably to help you go out and hunt these 5 hunts, and then from there you just let them self-populate, and it's just gnarly. It's thick mountaintop, straight up and down.
Yeah.
If
you don't know, if you're listening, this year Virginia. First ever elk draw in Southwest Virginia. I think 5 tags were given out.
We didn't get one.
I didn't get one. I was watching the thing like, come on, please. Hopefully one day, hopefully, we will both eventually get to hunt elk in Virginia, which would just be so epic. But but as a landowner, like you can't just like buy a bunch of elk and just let them go, can you?
No. Virginia would get very upset with that. So we were doing that.
But would you, if you got approved, would you ever like release elk on your land?
Almost definitely.
Yeah.
I think the selling point is obviously I got George Bush National Property behind me.
Yeah.
It would be awesome to have an elk herd there, and it's not feasible because unfortunately I'm a cutoff area where it's CWD. So game biologists would probably have a minor, blow their head up because you just dumped $500,000 worth of elk in the chronic wasting disease area. But Wyoming has it. This whole entire state has it. It's out there. It is what it is. We're living with it. I don't think it's near as bad as they put it off to be.
No, I mean there've been people making a huge deal of CWD for like 20 years.
And how many people eat elk and other wild game from Wyoming?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Just another thing to deal with.
But yeah, let's get some elk back here. I got another draw thing I want to do. Why can't we do some archery hunts on the Shenandoah National Park? You have the whole, especially early season, you have what we call leafers when you guys come out to see the foliage of the leaves there on Skyline Drive. There's no reason you can't put, I'd be happy to lend, I know you probably helped lend your service to map out bow areas, but if you did archery only up there, there's
and a bear hunt.
There's 200-inch bucks you can ride up there on Skyline Drive regularly, and you'll see 180 class or bigger whitetails.
I know when I was driving up there the other day, I was going on a training hike the other day. My maps took me to the wrong spot. I was trying to go to Mount Marshall Trail, but like not the Skyline Drive entrance, the one down below. But anyway, my maps took me up on Skyline Drive, and this was like 6:30 in the morning. It was just deer everywhere, on the road, just everywhere.
Well, like they killed the Browntown Bruiser, was one of the non-typical state records for a little bit, but was killed in Browntown right up from me. All off the park. Yeah. And you're talking, I think it was there was a boy that killed one over in Browntown a few years ago. I think scored 180. Local kid, and it was like a 32 pointer. Like, they have genetics. They have these giant whitetail that live up there. They already have poachers going up there shooting them with crossbows and night vision stuff. So like, let's just
just regulate it,
make money, let the Virginia Department run it, because that's pretty much how any game is run on federal property as well. They kind of just let them do whatever. But I think if they put some motions into this, and they do it out west a lot where they allow these quota hunts and stuff, but man, Skyline Drive,
Yeah, that'd be a sick hunt.
You have it all the way to Stanton, and you can just do it upright. I mean, I would, you would easily get. Someone would pay $2,000 to $3,000 if they knew they could hunt a whole season, or if you put it where you put a draw in.
Yeah.
And everybody applies to it for $100 or something. I
Yeah.
mean, you're going to create millions of dollars of revenue, and then just like we talked, people out of state come in here. They're going to stay at hotels. They're going to spend money in the communities.
Yep.
But a whole lot of land to hunt that's prime, and
yeah, it is.
They don't do it.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, yeah, hopefully we can link up and do some stuff in the future together and continue to stay in touch or anything. So probably call it here. Is there anything you want to say kind of at the end here?
Nah, man, I'm excited to make it down here, bring your hearing protection.
Yeah.
Didn't work too well. You left your... It's like, man, I looked back and I was like, man, he's probably going to need those.
I know.
Point.
I left my my ears at his place when we were shooting, but I had some extras. But it was all right. It gave me an excuse to get you out here.
Yeah, no, it was a great time being out here. Look forward to having maybe doing some footage, getting you out on the farm. Maybe bring the kids out, let them shoot some stuff.
That'd be cool, man. That'd be cool.
We got fishing and hunting. And,
yeah. Awesome, dude.
All right,
well, thanks again, brother.
Yeah, thank you. All right.